Greetings, MGTOW guys. It's kind of addictive, man. When you start making a little video and somebody watches it, you wanna make another one and see if anybody watches it. So here we go again. When I was divorced in '02, I remained celibate. Uh, I even had opportunities to not be celibate, and I passed them by because it just had been so devastating to lose my wife. And I worked and I'd have my interests on the internet. They have so much good radio on the internet, and YouTube is just so intriguing. It's just a bottomless pit of things that can distract you. And I work out of doors. I work construction, and in the summer months, I'm outside. I have my motorcycle. It wasn't like when I was young, just so focused on pussy. I just didn't dwell on it like I had when I'd been younger. But I was between jobs, and Illinois had banned smoking in public places, bars, restaurants. You couldn't smoke anymore inside. And the place I found a job with, they had a delivery to a strip club, and we drove over there with the truck and delivered a bunch of chairs to the place. And I guess what it was, they had installed a cigar shop, a smoking room, and we made the delivery, and then I realized, well, shoot, there's a place inside I can smoke. I wasn't supposed to smoke where I lived in this apartment, so couldn't smoke in any bars or anything. I don't drink anyway. But there's this strip club where I could go and I could smoke. And I'm a smoker. And aside from that, there's people there, and there's women there. And I found myself going there and going straight to that smoke shop and lounging and smoking and talking to the men and the women, whomever. I don't have a church. I don't have an elk lodge or real close ties with any groups to speak of. And we are social creatures, and it did me well, did me good to be around other people. And I think it's just a healthy thing to be around other people to some degree. And I was becoming disenchanted with my employment where I'd been, and I was talking about it, and I was at that strip club and that smoke shop, and they'd gotten used to me there, and they felt comfortable with me. And one of the managers said, well, you shouldn't just quit your job, you should find something else to do before you actually walk away from a job. And I said, well, nah, man, I ain't worried about it, dude. I'm gonna get another job. I just screw this place I'm at, man. And he said, well, you might want to work here. We need a limousine driver, and you might make a good living. And you ought to give it a shot. You ought to fill out an application. You could work at this strip club. And I thought, well, maybe I could. I need money, and it was local. It was nearby, and I ended up working there almost 3 years. I made a decent living. Uh, like I said, I'd been celibate since 2002, since my marriage ended, and I remained celibate at the strip club. I focused on making my living. I was a little older than most of the people around me who were employed there, so I had a maturity. I didn't get drawn into so many of the pitfalls that are common in that environment. I minded my own business, and I was respected there. Um, some of the shadier people thought I might even be a policeman because I didn't mix it up and goof around. But I had my place there, and it was interesting. It was such a departure from construction, from what had been my livelihood for the most part, most of my life, and I think it was healthy in that I was around other people quite a bit. Very social atmosphere. In 2010, little 23-year-old stripper came in there, and she kind of resembled my ex-wife. And she was a kind of a heady little thing, kind of a ambitious little thing, and I guess that it got to her that I was kind of off limits. I didn't fool around, you know. So she got it in her head to bring me down, or seduce me, or knock me off my little perch. But little did she know, she kind of resembled my ex-wife. She had a petite figure of Irish descent. I find that appealing. She was reminiscent in some ways to the woman I'd been married to for over a dozen years. And one thing led to another. And I ravaged that little 23-year-old man. It was real nostalgic, if you will. It was. I think in the bigger analysis, it's unfortunate that it happened. I knew from the get-go there was no future in it. Our value systems were completely polar opposite. She didn't have a lot of depth. She was cute though, hard-bodied little thing, desirable, and I fell into the stuff with zeal. Uh, it's one of those things. I've been celibate since. Okay, so now you're talking 2017. That was 2010. So it was a big blip on that line, on that Richter scale. There was a big blip right there. But I'm pretty consistent. I'm hoping to hold out in an idyllic sense for something I think is good, or nothing. No compromise, nothing, or something good. But I fell. I crashed and burned, and I did it with enthusiasm. That's kind of a confession. We're all human. Uh, Good luck, guys. Thanks for listening.